Next up, we have a short presentation by the winners of the NextGen PR World Cup. The NextGen PR World Cup is a public relations creative pitch competition that gives rising PR professionals from around the world a platform to exercise and showcase excellence through powerful PR and communications work. In 2025, the competition was held in the month of April, and the winners were announced in May. Today, the winners will present their insights, creativity, and next-gen PR brilliance. I invite the winners, Dan Vesterberg and Walter Westerlund, consultants at GK Nordic. Their prize includes an all-expenses-paid trip to the Eco Global Summit, Mumbai. They've come in from Stockholm. Dan and Walter.
Hi, everyone. First off, big thanks to ICO and UNDP for giving us this opportunity to be here today, and also to Precis, the Swedish Association for Public Relations Companies. As she told earlier this year, we got the opportunity to represent Sweden in ICO NextGen PR World Cup. And the brief this year came from UNDP and was not so simple. We had 48 hours to solve this small question. Basically, we know that young people today show indifference and fatigue towards the climate issue. So how do we get them to care again? And the focus was on reaching out to Gen Zs and millennials, as well as decision makers around the world. And also, as they say, remind the world that the climate crisis still affects us all. Our starting point was based on hard facts, because we know that science speaks for itself. We're moving in the wrong direction. We must stay below 1.5 degrees, but as of today, we're closer to 2.5 or even 3 degrees. And this is something that's very difficult to grasp and understand, especially for young people. And we believe that it's not only a climate crisis. In some ways, it could be seen as a communications crisis as well, because people feel climate anxiety and not climate proximity. And it feels far away, too abstract, and too technical. So our big question going into this was, how do we make the future feel close, emotional, and real?
So just a few years ago, the climate change was the biggest concern for young people. When the Greta effect was at its peak, the whole world was listening. Back then, more than half of young women in Sweden said that the climate crisis was their biggest concern. Today, that number has dropped to just 15%. And for young men, even less. And it's not because they don't care. But when everything sounds like a crisis, you just stop listening. As interest in the climate cools down, something else is heating up: the urge to travel. 77% plan to travel as much or even more in the coming year. And nearly 1 in 4 international trips is made by someone under 30. Because when you look at our social media feeds today, it's not hard to see why. Social media travel is no longer just about getting from point A to point B. It has become a lifestyle, something that shapes who we are, gives us perspective, and fuels personal growth. But it's also a way to show who we want to be. Travel has become content. We don't just travel, we document. We post, we tag, and we tell stories. But many of these dream destinations, the coral reefs, the snowy mountains, and the tropical islands, they are disappearing. We treat the climate crisis like it's a future problem. But it's happening here and now. And without realizing it, we're already booking our way to the last resort.
Yes. So if it's something that me and Dan knows, it is that millennials and Gen Z demands bold, creative, and honest storytelling. They care about themselves and are drawn to travel through social media, captivated by beautiful feeds, images, and videos. So our campaign, The Last Resort, meets them where they are, in their social media feeds, aligned with their values, and in the future they're currently planning. So our idea was pretty simple. We create a fictional travel site named The Last Resort, and it's beautifully designed, packed with dreamy destinations offering affordable trips to famous places around the world in the form of early bird tickets, meaning you can buy tickets today for the year 2050. And we built this with its own social media accounts, a Google location, even a Wikipedia page. But the goal is for The Last Resort to look, feel, and be experienced like any other travel site until you realize what we're actually selling.
And to reach our target audience, we launched The Last Resort online, on Instagram and on TikTok. And we do exactly what the real travel brands do. We use irresistible holiday visuals and deals like 45 euros to the Maldives. And it blends seamlessly into the feed, looking and feeling completely real. And that's the point. And with the help of influencers and public curiosity, the campaign spreads fast and organically. And our goal is simple: to spark curiosity, create desire, and drive clicks, just like a real travel brand would do.
Yes, but once you try to book a trip, reality hits you, and suddenly that dreamy destination is gone. Your trip info has been updated and canceled, so the Alps have no snow due to melting, and the Maldives are currently underwater and fully booked by the sea. And the only way forward is to take action here by pressing on that big button, which leads you to this. So when the trip you try to book is no longer possible, we offer a simple yet powerful way to make a difference. You can send a real postcard from the place you dreamed of visiting, with the sender being UNDP. And I can read out, it says, "Dear decision maker, I just booked a trip to the future. It wasn't the paradise I was hoping for. Rising seas, lost wildlife, heat waves, and air thick with pollution. Please take real climate action before these postcards become reality. Sincerely, a concerned traveler from today." So it might look like an ordinary souvenir, but it's addressed to someone who actually has the power to make change. And we've made it easy as possible to take action, just a few clicks, and the postcard is on its way. No forms, no apps. Because imagine the impact when thousands of these postcards start standing on the desks of decision makers at climate summits, in parliaments, and beyond. And hopefully it looks a bit like this.
And of course, we know how to build a campaign with Cannes Lions as the final destination. But here we show how The Last Resort comes to life. From the first teasers to talking with media and influencers under embargo, and everything builds up here to the 5th of June, the World Environment Day. And why does this work? Because we're not forcing a message. We take something people already love, which is to travel, and we turn it into a story about the future. It's emotional, it's visual, and it's made to be shared. But most importantly, it makes the climate issue feel close, something you can feel. And we don't overwhelm people with facts and numbers. We give them a feeling, just something real. And instead of telling people what to do, we make them want to do something, and just with a few clicks.
Yes. So to summarize, The Last Resort is not a real travel brand. It's a climate campaign in disguise, a postcard from the future sent before it's too late. So it starts as a dream, it spreads like a trend, and it ends in concrete action. We turn curiosity into postcards, postcards into impact, and impact into real change. And we are incredibly proud to have represented Sweden in this contest, and even prouder that we won, so we could be here today, meeting all of you.
And we hope you never have to book a trip with The Last Resort. Thank you so much. you.